Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Max Mosley's Flying Circus. I'm your host, Raveheart, here as always with my best friend, my co-host, my partner in crime, Taylor Surreal. And we are here to talk about the finale of the F1 season, the crown jewel of F1's human rights triple, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Ooh.
And I am legitimately nervous for this on so many levels. Another, this isn't a new track, but it's a tweaked track. So, they've changed some elements. Teams are not going to know what the fuck's going on, just like they have in the last 2 weeks. So, hopefully that does not spell another win for the LHT 1000. But that may be something we have to prepare for. I also
don't
just
want to think about that.
I also want to take an opportunity to just let you vent for a minute about how heated you've been about the Max brake check allegations.
Oh my goodness.
Because our back and forth in the DMs has been interesting. Honestly, from my perspective, funny, but just because I don't give a shit. You know, it's as Tom Cruise said in Days of Thunder, Rubbin's Racing?
Tropic Thunder?
No, Days of Thunder, the NASCAR
That's
movie.
a whole nother movie?
Yeah. We need to get Taylor caught up on his cinema.
Okay. First and foremost, I think everybody's going Team Lewis on this. Everybody's siding with Lewis for some reason. Everybody's brown-nosing Lewis on this. This is unbelievable. If you watch the footage, not only is the footage and the data, because they had to bring out the data in the videos, it shows clearly that he's been braking the entire time as he's downshifting. Immediately once he got the information over the radio to give the place back to Lewis. And everybody keeps saying he's in the middle of the track. He's not. He's like almost 2 car widths.
Yeah, there's more than enough room for Lewis to get by.
Either way.
Had the FIA informed Mercedes that Max was going to give the place back and they told Lewis, there was more than enough room for him to get by.
That is a good point, because that point is what people have been talking about, but it's also kind of moot, because at what point in any race of any kind, anywhere in the world, when you're fighting for first place and the guy in front of you slows up, do you just stay right behind him, slam on your brakes abruptly, and then rear end the guy?
When there's a DRS detection point ahead, and you don't want Max to get the tow and the DRS going into turn 1.
Had Lewis kept going as he was, just kept racing.
Yeah, realistically, he would have been more than a second ahead.
He would have been so far ahead. Yeah, there's no way. Because Max, slammed on the brakes. Shifted, down 5 gears, 6 gears, something like that. Anyways, that's my...
Okay, rant over. Let's get into the... Yeah, let's get into the track and the previous year's results. So, yes. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at Yas Marina has been held 12 times. First held in 2009. Most wins by a driver, Lewis Hamilton with 5. Constructors, Mercedes with 6. Because Nico Rosberg stole the title from Lewis at Abu Dhabi in 2016. Go Nico.
Yep.
We have a 3.281 mile, 5.281 European track length. Race length 190 miles, laps 58. I'm not going to bother counting the corners because F1 doesn't fucking know how to count corners anyway. So last year, 2020, pole position was Max Verstappen. P1 in the race, Max Verstappen. P2, Valtteri, which I have my theories about what's going to happen with Valtteri this weekend. P3, Lewis Hamilton. And Daniel Ricciardo, when he was still driving for Renault, had the fastest lap.
Oh, nice.
So, now that we've covered that, I have to bring up the meme because it feels accurate. It feels like Valtteri's been planning for this the whole time he's been at Mercedes. But don't be surprised if we see a repeat of Hungary. And like, I imagine that it's going to be like the Fast and the Furious end scene. You know, it's like they're flying through turn one. You think they're going to crash. It's almost like the train. Like, oh no, they're going to get taken out by the train. No, they don't get taken out by the train. They both get through fine. But then here comes fucking Valtteri yeeting through turn one and just takes them both out. Max wins the championship by default. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Ideally, if the championship could end that way, in massive controversy, but also in a way that's completely unequivocal, Max owns it, I would love that. That would be perfect.
Valtteri's like celebrating with Max on the like in the pits or whatever.
Oh no,
like,
just Christian Horner walks up to him in the paddock and just hands him a Red Bull that just so happens to have like a $10 million check attached to it. Like I'm
like with a rubber band. Like
yeah. Here you go. But all right. So before we get into the picks, I want to cover an interesting piece of, let's call it F1 news. I don't think it really qualifies, but I just wanted to shit talk Brad Pitt for a little bit, so let's do this. Brad Pitt is apparently going to be starring in an F1 themed movie with Lewis Hamilton. And I just want to know, is this Space Jam F1?
Probably.
In any case, it will be better than Space Jam 2. I'm sorry, LeBron. You gave me a championship, but that movie was hot fucking garbage. Oh, yeah, and the Toon Squad uniforms, what the fuck were you thinking? LeBron? No. Bad. Bad, LeBron.
Terrible.
I just don't get, like, what role Brad Pitt, of all people, could play in an F1 movie that's not, like...
He's going to play a driver, I would imagine. He looks like the driver, you know? The handsome, fucking long hair, probably blonde, fucking dude with the helmet in the pits and everything.
See,
with the cigarette.
If you said that was like 10 years ago, I'd be right on board.
Maybe he's team principal.
That's what I'm thinking. But how does Lewis Hamilton factor into it?
Maybe Lewis Hamilton is playing Lewis Hamilton in the movie. That's not impossible. That could.
If he is, it better just be a fucking cameo. Like,
well, not if he's on the cover of the whole fucking.
Who knows? Like, it just says in the article that Lewis Hamilton is involved with the project. It doesn't say that he's starring in it. It just says he's involved with the project. So he's probably like an executive producer who's going to get some random cameo halfway through the movie. But yeah, I have a gut feeling this thing is going to be bad. Because it's like,
yeah,
let's cash in on the fact that F1 is more popular than ever without really understanding what about the sport makes it popular. It's like Rush, the dude from Happy Days, Ron Howard. The Ron Howard movie with Chris Hemsworth, and I forget who plays Nicky Lauda in that movie. But like, that is a dude who took the time to like research the sport back then, research all the personalities involved.
Right.
Like, I think historical is easier to do with F1 because it gives you the ability to like research and know how the story pans out.
Right.
If you just kind of slap it together willy-nilly like Hollywood often tends to do, you get the Sylvester Stallone, Burt Reynolds, Sunshine from Remember the Titans, like I forget what that movie is called, but it's like an IndyCar movie and it's fucking awful. I mean, it's great, but it's also awful. It's like the tracks take place on road courses and street courses somehow in the same race. It's like, oh, here's the street course with a fucking NASCAR banked corner. What the fuck is this shit? Like, none of it makes sense. Like, they're upshifting in places they don't need to be upshifting, downshifting, out of corners. It's terrible. It's bad. But part of it also is amazing because it's so bad. You just have to watch it absolutely ripped. So when this movie is announced, when this movie comes out, I will be taking a flight to Los Angeles. Taylor and I will be getting just absolutely obliterated and going to see this movie, and then we'll do a live review on the channel. But now that little bit of housekeeping is out of the way, it's time to move on to the final picks of the year. Get ready for a lot of pauses, people, because let's be real. I don't think either one of us have our picks 100% set right now.
No, not at all. I'm just going to go with my gut.
I'll let you go first then.
I will. And I got to go with what I've always been going with. I'm not talking about every single pick, but I can't switch up now. So, to start it off, on pole, I'm going Max Verstappen. P1, I'm going Max. P2, of course, you guessed it, Lewis Hamilton. P3, I'm going Bottas. P4, I got to give it to my boy Lando. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe he'll find his way up there.
McLaren's running the new livery this weekend. He seems to do well when they do that. So,
well, that's good because P5 I'm going Danny Rick, and I am fastest lap.
Oh, you're gonna remember to do it this time.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Last week, fastest lap. I'm giving it to Bottas.
So, pole. Max Verstappen. P1. Mad Max Verstappen. P2.
Gotta be our boy.
Lewis Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
P3. Orlando Norris.
Oh.
P4.
Oh.
Valtteri Bottas.
Ooh.
P5. Esteban Ocon.
Ooh. My man has been, that could be the point right there. Say everybody, who knows what happens. That could be the point right there that sets the difference because that man has been on a roll lately.
The fastest lap. Got to give it to my boy Danny Rick.
Woo! Let's go.
He had it for Renault last year. He's in a better car this year. There's reason to believe that Danny Rick could pull that off.
It's the most experienced he's been with the car so far. We'll see.
And yeah, that is it for the picks this year. got a couple of ideas for videos coming up before the end of before kind of to wrap up the season. But yeah, you guys will be hearing about those on all the socials. So remember, follow, like, comment, subscribe, spam your grandma, share it on MySpace and Friendster and whatever else you're using these days. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I'm not confident about any of those picks whatsoever. It's like I'm half expecting Michael Massey to just come through with the, FIA banhammer and just start fucking shit up. But
really, the only thing I want to happen
is Max to win.
The drivers.
Yeah. It's like if Max wins, I will happily accept P2 in the predictors.
And for me, I don't even necessarily need him to win the race. I just need him to beat Lewis Hamilton.
Just to win the title. The title is all that matters.
That's really all I want. If he wins the race, if he does it by winning the race, phenomenal. And I want him to win the race. But that's where
I have to admit, at this point, it's like I feel sorry for all the F1 fans who have had to sit through just years and years of Mercedes dominance, and we jump in for what is arguably the best championship in terms of drama in the history of F1. We are literally jumping in at the perfect time. And thank you guys for joining us on this weird, wacky, and wonderful journey through the world of F1. I've been Raveheart. He's been my co-host, Taylor Surreal. And until next time, guys, stay safe. Adios. From the top,